Hey villagers, it's Susan and welcome to week 2. I know you're well into your 30-day challenge now. Hopefully you're getting into a rhythm and you've been applying these new additional habits to your everyday. Just those 3 different things that you're starting to incorporate and add value into your day-to-day structure and really organizing the systems that you have in place that are your structure, that are your grid, your foundation, your commitments to daily wellness, to greatness, to healthy habits that you really make non-negotiable every single day. So last week we really began this conversation of holding space for ourselves inside, holding our central channel. And when we bring our hands together in this orbital shape, we hold space for this wide open column that opens us to the earth below and pushes us up and out to the sky above. And now this week we add on. We never forget what we've done the week before, but we add on to continuously grow and expand our internal space. And from that inner push, we begin to create lightness, momentum, levity throughout our life. And we see that there's a lot more of a lightening of our load as we move through day to day, as we find an experience with ourself that allows lightness, freedom, open-heartedness to become our normal. So if you've done this practice with me and kind of following along in the challenge, last week I asked you to really try to come into recovery pose a few times a day, where you're bending your knees and supporting yourself so that you don't have to fight gravity, but so that you're really engaging your strong and long center and using the arms like struts to help you create a longer line between grounded hips back behind you and a rising full rib cage up through the crown of your head. So every time you come down to your knees, you can move your ribs to fill out the back of your body, not to completely round yourself, but to get more fullness and volume into the back of your ribs, really creating a dimensionality. Sending the butt back and wide with strong legs up the back of your legs and then stretching long out through the crown of the head. Now keeping that as you start to move through your day becomes a really beautiful opportunity to constantly practice, to return to your center, to find that true north. Then as you notice yourself getting a little more sensitive, a little more aware of that, you can start to add on to this idea of a radial push, where we come into this conversation of radiant heart, which is your ribs opening in every direction. So there's a couple different arm positions and movements that I'm gonna give you this week to practice pushing out from the inside and opening your ribs and really feeling the connective tissue across your body begin to stretch, begin to tone, begin to lengthen, and pull taut to help hold the bones in suspension. We're never compressing bone on bone, we're always pulling the bones apart and creating a really healthy push-pull dynamic play of the body, really in alignment and in a healthy tension with itself. So when we move into radiant heart, we're really asking ourselves to find as much space for ourselves as we can, right? So with a bent knee position, it just helps to position the hips and let your central channel open. I want you to practice a few times like you're coming in for a hug, right? Like you're really reaching around one of your best, oldest friends, and as you reach around and bring your arms together, you're widening your rib cage, you're pushing your wingspan up and out in a V vector, and we'll talk more about that next week, but you're feeling the broadening go wide and up towards the sky as the arms come and embrace the space in front of you. And as you come to globes, the connection of your hands gives you a reflection of what's happening in central column, and as the arms come and embrace the space in front, this reflects the beautiful opening of your rib cage. So you can see my hands are a little bit lower in the front rather than up above my shoulders. Just in front of the navel, I keep them low, elbows push wide, and that gives me a little more space for my breath to expand into my lungs. Diaphragm drops, ribs can widen and then lift up nice and light like a helium balloon. And so as you practice bringing your hands around in front and connecting the domes together, you can actually feel strength and a sleeve of support draw up your arm and land into the core of your body. And from that push at the core, everything becomes lighter. And you don't have to always carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. That's an important process, right? To really lighten your load. And it's a committed time that every moment you are able to push out from the inside, you're not letting the world kink your hose or push in on you to collapse your inner space. Instead, you're committed to this philosophy that has come out of an alignment, radiant heart. Play big, never shrink yourself on the inside out. So a few times around, as you dome, bring the hands to globe and breathe wide. You can give a little wiggle. You're just practicing and normalizing an inflated upper body lift of your rib cage. A couple other things I like to do with the arms to help the width and the depth of the rib cage get more expansive, more radial. Crossing elbows, holding opposite forearms even. You can slide the hands a little wider as an option. We call these genie arms. Now as you pull the elbows apart from each other and push the underarms wider apart, you create again that lateral width, which is the ABCs of your rib cage. Wide, and then you go back into the back heart. As you push your elbows forward, the ribs move back and wide. So you really get a sense of dimension there, and you can articulate back and forth, side to side. So again, that tissue begins to slide and glide along the bone in an upward V vector to keep the ribs nice and light. I like to push and then switch the forearms, elbows push out, forearms forward, ribs back, and then press down through the elbows to stretch up nice and long through the center. And you can do a little pulse here action. It's almost like you're pushing up out of a pool. When you push down, the whole body rises up. So as you cross in forearms, elbows down, ribs rise up, but you never want to come to a point where the ribs are small and you're just moving your elbows, or when you push down, you're collapsing your central channel at the floor of your base. So you really want to keep the hips back and just lightly, just pump like you're leveraging the arms to give a little more tone and a little more length up out of the heavy hip. You're really starting to feel that strong connection to your center. As earth and sky pull apart, you create that healthy push-pull dynamic where the body is in, again, healthy tension with itself, right? So one other thing that I like to do, and these are all arm positions, in service to making your rib cage big and full. Having two hand positions that give you an oppositional force. So we have one hand in ecstasy, where I bring my hand more to the side of my skull, right above my ear, and I pull my dome hand away from my skull like a suction so I can move the head and ears back to bow and open my front body. Now my opposite hand, if I'm standing, I can put it against my knee or thigh. If I'm sitting at a desk, which I highly recommend you do, you can press down against your dome hand. Keep each finger knuckle softly bent and the wrist hollows on the underside and the outer side of your wrist. You have a nice hollow. And then the underarm rises. So as you're reaching the left forward, your wing from behind reaches, and then you dome backwards into your right hand. You're feeling that oppositional push-pull to really expand your heart front to back. Then using your downward press and the upward rise of your right hand, you can get the full expanse of the barrel of your rib cage lifting away from the earth. Of course, you want to switch hands where you can feel again a reach through your wing and a resistance back through your crown and skull so the whole front body has a chance to open. So 3 opportunities this week to practice Radiant Heart. But really, it's moment-to-moment opportunity to practice. When someone comes in and has a challenging conversation, can you stay big? When you get weird news in your email and you immediately go to this frowny, closed-off, kind of small face of contemplative or worry or whatever it is that you move into, can you find again that little push from the inside? Globe hands is a great way to practice making more space for your breath. Genie arms gives you a little more dynamism to feel one side at a time, where you can arc and open and let the waistlines lengthen and tone, and then one hand in ecstasy, one hand reaching forward in dome so that you can push, pull, reach forward, head presses back, and let the ribs rise up a little bit more away from the foundation of your rooted hips. Let me know if you have questions. I would love to hear your feedback. I'm coming to you from the Heart Quarters in Denver. This is Vital Center for Body Mind Health in the Sky Studio. So I'd love for you to come join me anytime. We're here rocking it out in the Bowspring world, and we would love to have your energy come contribute to the Heart Quarters. As we all get stronger and more connected to our radiant hearts, we can keep pushing from the inside out. So find your spring. Feel your central channel connecting earth and sky, and then let nothing kink your hose. Push from the inside out and hold yourself in a new normal where your radiant center is the true north that you continue to return to, and your radiant heart is your offering out to the world of your greatest, your best self. I'm excited to continue to grow with you, alongside you, and to learn together. Let me know your feedback. Let me know your experiences. Keep on pushing. All the love. I'll talk to you soon. Namaste.